3, 2, 1. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Whiskey, Lead, and Steel, Feeling Short While You Wait, the official podcast of Aggressive Defensive Solutions. I'm Rick Sutton, and joining me, almost as always, is Lee Curling, future governor of the Commonwealth of Virginia. Right?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Unless you've got more important shit to
If
do.
you can convince people to write me in.
Oh, we're working on that.
Because I'm not.
We're working on that.
I'm not doing that on my own.
Yeah, no kidding. Nobody who wants that job should have that job. Right? I mean, at the end of the day, that's a Ned Stark thing. Yeah. The only guy who should have that job is the guy who goes, no, I don't want to do that. I just want to do other shit. All right, so every now and again, we divert from either talking shit on stuff or concepts or training, or we just come up with funny shit. And then every now and again, we talk about stuff that is adjacent to what it is that we do. Among those is looking after you. And the reason that looking after you is important is because the whole concept of, for those of you who are competitive shooters, or for those of you who are operational/defensive shooters, or the people who swim in the brackish water and you do a little bit of both, you are part of the system. You are part of the weapon system. You are part of the athletic system, how that goes. So every now and again, while you're grinding it out at the gym, or you're, passing the 60-mile mark on your daily run, or whatever it is that you do, every now and again you go, I'm tired, I'm not sleeping well, I'm not, whatever. All of that plays in, and all of that comes together, right? So let's talk about, because I don't know, it's changing weather, what's going on, or a lot of stuff that's going on at work, but we were just talking a couple minutes ago. So in the last week, because you have a watch that tells you things. I have a watch that tells me it's what time it is, and that I should go eat something. But so your watch is telling you all this stuff, and so what was going on? What was the deal?
Oh, no. So I set stage. Right? I normally try to run at least 4 days a week. Right. So two easy days. Well, 2 easy days. Right. 30-minute runs, and then the weekends I get a couple longer runs in. But last week was one of those. It's a rough week.
Yeah.
Right. Had a good weekend, and Monday I'm tired, and Tuesday I'm tired. I skipped my Tuesday run, and Wednesday I'm like, I'm tired. And sometimes I pay a lot of attention to what my watch tells me. Sometimes I don't. And it's like Wednesday, it's like I haven't run since Sunday, and my watch is like, you should rest for another 67 hours before you make another long run. I'm like, I haven't run in 3 days. You shouldn't be telling me that. So I start looking back at metrics, and I just found, right, throughout the couple days, it was like, lower energy and lower energy and lower energy. And while I didn't feel sick, my watch at one point was like, your body is undergoing stress, lots of stress, and that's affecting your sleep. And that is and because it's affecting your sleep, that's affecting your HRV, which is your heart rate variance, which is some metric that I don't fully understand, but it should be in this area for me. It's like when I travel and I'm not doing, and I struggle to sleep well when I'm traveling. It's like that's one of the things that's always out of whack for me. Whatever it is, I don't know. Somebody knows a lot more about it than I do. But what I found was, it's we a lot of times will know we're not feeling well, and there's other times that we want to gut through not feeling well. I'm a man. I should, I just need to gut through this. I need to, but when you got a device, that's looking at what your body's doing and is telling you that you're feeling a certain way, and it's telling you, are you you probably should expect to feel this way today, and you go, oh, I was already feeling this way. There's a little bit of odd validation to that, but it's interesting because we weren't thinking about talking about this today, but I was on the way over here today, and it kind of hit me that back 10, 15 years ago, if you had a week of this, the biometric feedback from some of the devices we wear today, that was a trip for a sleep study. That was a trip to the, I don't necessarily say hospital, but right, it was a trip to get hooked up to a whole bunch of machines. And I don't place life saving
My watch says I'm fine, so I don't.
That's right.
I don't need to go to a doctor. My watch says you're good.
I'm not having a heart attack because my watch didn't tell me I am.
That's right.
But Apple actually is going through some certification to make their Apple Watch a medical device, to be able to do certain things. But
and charge you more.
And charge you more. But it is one of those things that the amount of data that we can collect on ourselves, and we can then also go the amount of data we collect on ourselves that we might be shipping off into the cloud, right? That's a whole different story. That there's a lot that we can.
The cloud up there.
The cloud up there.
Kamala says it is.
Yeah, the cloud.
It's in the cloud.
Yeah. The cloud is not just somebody else's computer. It might be my computer. Who knows? But it's one of those things that we're able to collect so much feedback on how we're doing on certain things. We can get workout recommendations, whether it's strength, whether it's cardiovascular, and those types of things to help in a way that we just didn't have years ago. But being able, I think, to reel back into while we're talking about this, is taking care of yourself is important. Right. And I always tell my boss, you need to take care of yourself. I have a lot invested in you.
That's exactly right.
And he jokes, and he's like, but I got a lot invested in you. I'm like, and that's why I take care of myself. Right. That's why I may, duck out for an hour in the middle of the day to go take a run. Right. Because taking care of myself is important. Right. If I'm not feeling my best and I'm not performing at my best, I struggle with people that count on me at work, right? And that's nobody's going to die if in my day job something doesn't necessarily go bad or doesn't or goes bad, right? In the military, if that happens, somebody might die.
Yep.
And if you're a defensive shooter, right, and you're doing the training and the things you do for defensive shooting, then if you're not at your best, then yes, you might die because you're doing the things you're doing, for the rest of your life to get it right.
Yeah, and to that end, that's one of the things that it makes absolute sense when you say it out loud, but if you don't take the time to go, well, I need to do this so that I'm more capable. If you don't stop and think about it, it always doesn't ring true to you, and you don't think through it. But and we'll talk about a defensive shooting standpoint for that. So we talk all the time when you train with us. You go, how much time do you have to get the gun out of the holster, get the first shot off, get a reload, whatever? That's the rest of your life. It's the rest of your life. Well, that is all compounded. And that is all based on the idea that you are taking your training seriously and you are putting the time in because you recognize I have to perform at my absolute best. I got to carry my A game with me everywhere that I go all the time. I got to be prepared to do the absolute best that I can in the event that things go bad. And then you recognize, well, statistically speaking, the bad thing is going to happen in the dark at the end of the day when I'm distracted, when all of the worst set of circumstances have compiled, and that's where the bad thing happens. So you're not going to get the chance to warm up,
Mm-hmm.
right? You've got to have decisions preloaded, front loaded. You got to be ready to go to make all that work. So to that end, what you've got to do is you go, well, I know, and for those of you who saw Zombieland, did you see Zombieland a while back ago? Woody Harrelson and some dude.
There were a couple. There were a couple of them. I think.
Anyway, so the first one, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's a scene in there where this kid who's always he's narrating. He talks about, well, always do your cardio,
Right.
Because you got to outrun the zombies.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So they get ready to go smoke some zombies or something, and he turns to Woody Harrelson. He's wearing a cowboy hat, and he goes, "You're gonna stretch before we go kill these zombies?" And Woody Harrelson goes, "You ever see a lion stretch before he kills a gazelle?"
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
So if you have to be prepared, if you're going to be prepared, then all the prep work goes into the front end of that, right? So you don't get to go, all right, well, tomorrow I'm going to be involved in the lethal encounter. So today I got to make sure I do my push-ups and my pull-ups, and I got to go to the chiropractor to make sure my back is good so that I can move effectively and all that stuff, right? So if you're defensively carrying and you go, well, I've decided that I'm going to go to the range once a week. I'm going to shoot a loadout, and this is my training package. This is what I'm going to do. That's great. That's a fantastic idea. That's a piece of you being prepared. Another piece to that is you got to be able to go, okay, and even if you don't have to be able to go 4 rounds with Mike Tyson, you do have to be able to know where your cardio and where your strength limit is, because that becomes part of the decision-making matrix, right? If you know, because once a week you go to the gym and you bench press as much as you can, and you get on the treadmill and you run as hard as you can on the treadmill, and what you've determined is, well, I can bench press twice my body weight, or I can bench press my body weight 3 times,
Right.
and then I'm smoked.
Right.
I can get on the treadmill and I can run as hard as I can possibly run on the treadmill at this setting for 3 minutes, and then I'm gassed. Well, you should try to improve those numbers, but knowing those numbers is a thing that is inherently good, and you need to know that. And then that should tell you, okay, well, then what I need to do is I need to do push-ups so I can push my body weight 4 times. So I can sprint for 5 minutes. Because your physical capabilities is all part of what comes into, along with your skills and your mindset. All that plays in together. Where we're getting to that is when you recognize, hey, I'm not operating at peak performance, whatever it is. There's a couple of things that happen. The first thing that is intuitive is you go, okay, well, let me look at my watch. My watch has said, well, you've got this, this, and this, and this. Oh, okay, well, then maybe I need some vitamin B12, or maybe I need to do this, or maybe what I need to do is go to the chiropractor, get my back cracked, and then sit in a quiet room for 20 minutes and just off-gas this. These are all legitimate things that you need to know about doing. Because if you go, I feel like crap, and so you skip a day, and then the next day, because you skipped yesterday, you feel like crap again, so you skip a day. Well, as mammals, day 3 that you skip, you start to lose toning. You start to lose all of the things that you worked hard for. And then I have found, it's been my experience, you don't feel motivated, so you don't work out. And then the next thing you do is you go, I don't feel great. You know what? I'm going to skip the range today. That can become a habit. That can become a problem. So knowing what's going on, managing your physicality, managing your stress level, and there's never a big kumbaya fest with me, but I understand enough about mammalian physiology and human psychology to understand that stress is a real thing. It really does. It'll wear you out. It'll grind you down. It will distract you. It has physiological effects on you. So mental and emotional stress has physiological stress effects on you, which then it becomes this cycle. It's a circle, right? So if you, and this happens with me, like when I go on saddle fittings where I'm out of town, like I drive to Roanoke and I drive all day. I get to Roanoke, I work all day, I spend the night, I get up the next day, work all day, and then drive home. Dude, Tuesday and Wednesday of that week, I'm not worth a shit for anything.
Oh, yeah.
I'm spent, or the days when I drive 6 hours, I work for 3 hours or 4 hours, and I drive back 6 hours. I don't eat on my normal schedule when I'm driving. I don't get any exercise. I mean, I'm sitting in the car, and the exercise that I get is when I stop, because I'm 55. I stop every hour and 15 minutes, getting up, get rid of the coffee, walk back, get in the car, and haul ass. I get where I'm doing. I work for 3 hours, and then I drive home again.
So it's more as not only that, you don't eat on the same schedule.
And you don't eat good.
You don't eat.
Yeah,
as
eat
well.
shit. Yeah.
Right? Yeah. I got it. So
Yeah.
And skipping a day, taking a day off, those are all okay as long as you plan it.
And,
right?
and recognize what it is.
And you recognize what it is, right? And the other part is having some accountability. Again, you talk about, right? We as human beings, we struggle to be accountable to ourselves. Right? It's very, very easy to make excuses, right, to ourselves and convince ourselves this is why I haven't done this in a week. Right? I will not skip a long run, no matter what. If the rest of the week has been whatever, nope, I'm doing that long run. And the challenge with that becomes, I can't just do long runs.
Yeah.
Right. I say that to translate that. Same with the range. You cannot go and just do the advanced thing you want to do.
Yeah.
And when you go through that training cycle and you go, okay, well, I have these basic skills that you always you should always be reinforcing, which allows you then to combine it to do the advanced thing, and you go, well, I'm just going to only do this one thing, right? After a period of time, you struggle with this because you haven't been spending that time doing the draw, right?
Yeah.
The draw in the house, right?
Yep.
Or the dry fire, or getting your draw to your sight picture sight alignment, right? It's those simple things. When you skip that, then the advanced thing becomes hard, right? No different than your body can't continue to do 10-mile runs when all you're doing is 10-mile runs once a week, right? So eventually, but it's like I use that as part of my accountability. But again, when we kind of talked about this before, was coaching versus coach versus an instructor, right? Where I do work with a coach for some of my cardio stuff, right? And that's I keep myself accountable that way. But the other part of all of this gets into, I see too often, we see too often, those people that go, well, I don't have time for X. I don't have time to go to the gym, or I don't have time to work out. I don't have time to take care of the physical part of my life. And the reality is it's bigger than the defensive aspect of things, right? It goes into just your ability to function as a human being. Right? We're old guys, right? I'm on a couple of Desert Storm era boards, on Facebook, and some of these guys are like, well, I have this problem, or I have this other problem, or I have and it's, well, what do you do? Well, they don't do anything, and I can't do it because I have these problems, and I'm of the belief you have these problems because you don't do these things.
Yeah.
And I think I've said it on the podcast a while back, but it's, I got back into working on taking care of myself because I'd wake up in the morning, my arms numb, right? Because I'd slept on on one side. It's like, damn, being 50 sucked, right? But once you start taking care of yourself, suddenly it's like, all of those aches and pains kind of went away.
Yep.
Because you're in better physical condition.
Yeah.
But again, it reduces stress, allows us to function better at work, it function better in relationships, function better in gunfighting when you need to gunfight. So,
It's like Arnold said. There's 24 hours in the day. You work for 20. You work for 8. You sleep for 6. Yeah. It's true.
I will say it, and I'm going to look at the camera and say it this way. There's so many things out there, whether they're, and I don't necessarily subscribe to it's the end of the world type of thing.
No.
But I see all of these things you need to do because whatever conspiracy is going to happen, and whether it's Yellowstone is going to blow up because there's a volcano, or the economy is going to collapse, and all these things are going to happen, or this other thing's going to happen, or
we're going to be reduced to eating ducks and cats.
Guys.
No, that's already happening.
Guys in blue helmets are going to start roaming the streets, whatever, and there are those people that are thoroughly convinced that these things are going to happen, and then when you go, what is your plan for that? And then it's like, well, I can't.
About AK.
No. But I can't afford to do this, or I can't afford to do that. If something is part of an existential threat to you, then you can afford to do it.
Yep.
And if you believe that you're carrying a gun for defensive purposes, which I'm carrying a gun for defensive purposes, right? That is a potential existential threat, which means you have to carve out the time to take care of the things that you need to take care of to train with it for proficiency, train your body so you're the best at it you can, and carve out the money in order to be able to do the training that you need to do.
That's right.
And that so the if your belief of the existential threat is Putin's is gonna nuke us, then you need to come up with the $600,000 to build a bunker in your backyard, right? Because that's important.
Yeah.
If your existential threat is something else, then you need to ensure that it doesn't matter what it is. It does not matter what it is to you. You've got to carve out the things. That means you cut back on the number of soy mocha latte whatever's. Then that's what you do.
That's right. Yeah. They're getting an extra penis latte with estrogen chips in it. Yeah, and that's all of it. All of it. When you take a step back, it's all interconnected. You go, okay, well, my ability to move my body plays into my ability to shoot my gun. My ability to breathe well, even after I've exerted myself, plays into my ability to shoot my gun. It also plays into my ability to manage stress, physical and intellectual. Yeah, so it's all tied in there together, and you don't have to go all Joe Rogan and drink a bottle of ayahuasca every weekend, but you gotta stress yourself, and as Hank Larkin was fond of saying, a lot of quotes from that guy. Moderation in everything, including moderation, right? There are times when you go overboard, and then there are times that you don't. And if you're smart about it, and you look at what it is that you want, and you plan for it, and you prep for it, and you work towards it, it's not only a matter of being successful in life, but also in being happy. And being happy is part of a successful life, as far as I can tell. But yeah, and some of that has to, sometimes you have to just go, yeah, that's gonna suck. I'm just gonna go do it. There are plenty of times when I go, I don't fight people for a living anymore.
Right.
So if I skip my morning routine workout because it's rainy and it's shitty and I'm a little tired because I didn't sleep well last night. It's not the end of the world if I skip it today. I know me well enough. If I skip it today, I'm going to feel shitty tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be real easy to go, it ain't like I'm fighting people.
Mm-hmm.
And then I always notice when I go, hey, you lazy fat bastard, just, you know what? Screw it. Compromise. Go do the push-ups and do the crunches.
Mm-hmm.
I get through the push-ups and the crunches, and I go,
well, I'm done.
I'm already here. I might as well do flutter kicks. Well, all right, I did my flutter kicks. I might as well do triceps extensions. All right, well, then I might as well just do 21s. Okay, fine. Now I need to do my stretches because I worked out. And then I finish up and I go, God damn, I feel better.
I feel better.
And then I sleep better that night.
Mm-hmm.
I have found this. This is a tough thing for me when I'm out on the road is I break my routine.
Mm-hmm.
And so I come home, I take a shower, and now I'm awake.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't think to stretch.
Mm-hmm.
So then when I finally get in bed, I didn't stretch all day. I drove my truck all day.
Mm-hmm.
And I wake up the next morning, I'm all gimped up. And I'm like, I don't feel like stretching. I don't feel like working out because
because I'm all gimped up.
Yeah. So now, to that end, if you are Ivan Drago and you have all the technology to make you a better, more efficient trainer and killer, and you breathe in the thing and hitting the bag at 1,000 pounds per square inch or whatever, good for you. If you're just a schlub and you're like, yeah, I'm just going to put some chains on and go for a jog or go for a swim, whatever it is, when you're done doing it and you feel better, that's the thing that counts. That's what matters. So just, relieve some stress, work out, make yourself feel better. It's okay to take a break from time to time. Just don't get in the habit of breaking it. And, hit it a little hard. Sometimes hit it too hard.
Sometimes
every now and again, you should hit it too hard and come back and go, I should not do that for a while. Right? If you come back from the range and your hands are all blistered up and your wallet is $1,000 lighter because you bought all that ammo, maybe you don't do that every month. But every now and again, you should do that. I wouldn't run 26 miles without somebody chasing me with a gun. But every now and again, you should probably go run farther than you really want to run, which for me is about 10 yards. Run to cover.
Run to cover.
Anything else?
I don't think so. Take care. Yeah.
Don't buy a person.
Take care of yourself. That's really the key. Take care of yourself, right? If you're going to take care of others, if you got other people if you have other people that are counting on you, you have to take care of yourself. And sometimes you have to take care of yourself first.
Typically, you do.
In order to, right? Yeah. Hey, on the airplane, what do they say?
Put your mask on
first. Put your mask on first, right?
Absolutely.
So take care of yourself so you can take care of others.
Cool. All right. Well, I don't think we hurt anybody's feelings on this one, unless they were carrying burses, in which case I'm not worried about their feelings anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So, good information. Cool.
Yeah.
Be safe out there. We'll look forward to seeing you next time. Take it light.
Yeah.
Go for a run.
Well, only that or somebody with a 10mm tank folio.
That's right.
Lot lizards.
I got the lot lizards coming in on me. They're in the wire.
Might hurt their feelings.
That's right.